Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Sunday. We're going to take a look at a couple of things here that we got going on. Obviously, we'll take a look at the miners versus Bitcoin, see where they are for this week, which ones did better or which ones did worse than Bitcoin, how did Bitcoin do and everything else like that. We'll take a look at that, how they did for the 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. We'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at a story that says a pretty reliable Bitcoin bottom indicator says that we're going to possibly be bottoming out at 15.6K on BTC. So we'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at buying. So there's obviously still people buying Bitcoin at this price, at these prices. So you got MicroStrategy, you also have El Salvador. So we'll take a look at that. And obviously we'll take a look at the charts as well for Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. And then we'll get into everything else. So as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for entertainment only. I'm invested in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And let's get into Bitcoin here right now. So Bitcoin is at 19,218 on the 1 hour chart. And we're still not seeing anything good as far as the RSI levels. It's still looking pretty bearish right now, at least for the short term. If we look at the RSI, it's at 55 right now, and we were pretty close to that here on July 2nd at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Price was up here at right around 19,331. We've obviously come down to 19,200, so about $100 less than where we were, but the RSI is obviously a little bit higher here, so that doesn't lead good momentum. So it looks like we are going to be possibly going down further from where we are right now. And obviously we did hit a nice wick here down to about 18,753. So we are testing that range. It looks like 18,700 or so as possible support. We'll see. We're down here also at 18,700 or so. And we did wick above it. So maybe that is going to be our support coming up here, but we'll see how that plays out. Ethereum is also basically doing the same thing. RSI is at 52. It's at right now $1,059. And last time we were at that range in the RSI, we were up higher just a little bit on the price. So we're still looking a little bit bearish on the 1 hour chart, at least for Ethereum. All right, so let's take a look at the first story that we have here, which is Bitcoin indicator that nailed all bottoms, predicts 15.6 thousand for a BTC price floor possibly. And this is the MVRV-Z score. Is a tried and tested bottom indicator, but it is not back at the base yet, one analyst warns. So looks like we obviously still have a little bit ways to go. So Bitcoin needs to go lower before putting in a macro bottom. One of the market's most accurate indicators shows data from sources including on-chain analytics firms Glassnode shows Bitcoin MVRV-Z score is almost but not quite signaling a price reversal. So we're getting close, so we'll see. So amid ongoing debate whether if or when BTC will go beyond its current macro lows of 17,600, new figures suggest that the market easily has further to fall, which is a bummer, right? We've been in this kind of falling precipitously over the past weeks, months, and obviously it's a downer for everybody. But as noted by Flip, co-founder of trading suite Decent Trader, the MVRV-Z score is now in its classic green zone, but not yet at the point which has accompanied price bottoms in the past. So that's at least good. So we're getting close. The MVRV measures how high or low the Bitcoin spot price is relative to what is referred to as fair value. So it uses the market cap and realized price data along with standard deviation to create what has turned out to be one of the most efficient Bitcoin top and bottom prediction tools. So this is kind of interesting here. This is something that I wasn't aware of, so something I'm definitely be following a little bit more closely here. Because obviously if it can tell us what the bottom is and possibly what the top is, you may have a great way of being able to obviously be fearful when everybody's greedy and be greedy when everybody is fearful. So it might be a good indicator, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. Excuse me. So the MVRV has caught every macro top and bottom on BTC in its history and done so with an accuracy of 2 weeks. Data resource looking into Bitcoin notes. So that's obviously a pretty good metric there. The metric has only gone below its green zone a handful of times, the last time being in March of 2020, but more downside pressure would deliver a repeat performance. Okay. So this chart is the one for me. Flip commented about the latest readings. Here's a quote from him. We normally bottom when market cap is less than realized cap by around 30%, currently $15.6 thousand. This was when macro times were relatively good. Anything above here is risk that it's different this time, in my opinion. So, and here's a chart that we can see here. So that green zone right there is basically what they're calling it. Right there and that's the MVRV zone score. So we're getting obviously pretty low to that. We're in the green right now, but we could go a little bit lower on it. So we could get around 15.6, maybe a little bit lower than that too. And that's kind of what everybody's saying. Maybe 15, 14,000 might be the bottom that we're going to possibly hit here. So we'll see. We still got a little bit more pain to go in the market, obviously. But we do have some good news. Obviously, people are still buying. So El Salvador has quoted, "Thank you for selling cheap." El Salvador president on 80 Bitcoin. So they purchased obviously more. So we're seeing that still. We're also seeing, small accumulations happening where people are getting to that 1 BTC, or so that's growing as well. We're also seeing MicroStrategy here has purchased an additional 480 Bitcoins for 10 million at an average price of 20,817. So they now hold 129,699 Bitcoins required for 3.98 billion at an average price of 30,000. So they're obviously down 33% from that, which is obviously pretty good, which is sizable loss on it right now. Obviously, they're not losing it if they don't sell it, but if they do sell it, they're going to have a nice loss, obviously. But I don't see them selling anytime soon until possibly Bitcoin hits $1 million based on what Saylor has been talking about. So we'll see how that goes out. So there is some good news. Some things are still happening. People are still buying the dip, and we'll see how it continues on. So tomorrow is obviously 4th of July, so happy 4th of July to everybody that's celebrating it. Markets will be closed tomorrow, so we won't have any news on the miners possibly, but we will see if anything else happens in Bitcoin or anything like that, and then we'll possibly talk about it here. And let's get into the miners versus Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was down approximately 9.24% on the week, which was quite a bit. I'm also tracking it from Friday to Friday instead of the normal Sunday to Sunday. So I'm checking it kind of like the same as the miners, Monday through Friday. So we're tracking the same time frame. So Bitcoin was down 9.24%, about almost 1,962. And then we have obviously Mawson did better than them. They were only down 10 cents, 8% on the week. Luxfolio was actually up 6.36, and Iris Energy was actually up 18.03% on the week. So those guys did better than Bitcoin. And then we have obviously DMG was down 12.6%. Hive was down 12.8, almost 12.9. Stronghold was down 14.14%. BitDigital was down 17.5%. BitDigital or DigiHost was down 18.25%. Rye was down 18.3%. Argo was down 19.15%. CleanSpark was down almost 20%. Hut 8 was down 20%. Sphere was down 22%. Marathon was down 25%. Bitfarms was down 26%. Core Scientific was down 27.75%. I did do a little buying on Friday, bought some more Bitfarms, CleanSpark, and obviously Rivian that I'm also investing in. So I'm dollar cost averaging as best I can, but it is getting tougher and tougher to do that. Cash supply is starting to run low. So we'll see how much lower we go before we get a possibly bottom here. So looking at it, you can obviously see here on the weekly chart, Iris and Luxfolio did better than Bitcoin. Everybody else did worse. If we then compare it to the 4-week chart, and you can see here everything's in red except for these two guys. But for the 12 weeks, 8 weeks, and everything else, it's sort of descending. Take a look at the chart here on the 4 weeks. We can see, let me see here, where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin is down, wow. Bitcoin's down 33% on the 4 weeks. And then everybody above that did better, obviously. So Bitfarms, Stronghold, Argo, Hut 8, Marathon, Iris, CleanSpark, Riot, Luxfolio, Hive, BitDigital all did better. And then worse performing was Core Scientific at 35%, DigiHost at 37.5%, Sphere 3D was down 39%, and Mawson was down 45%. So a big hit to those guys in the 4 weeks. Let's take a look at the 8-week here really quick as well. On the 8 weeks, Bitcoin is, where's Bitcoin? There it is. Excuse me. Bitcoin is down 34%. So Hive has done better. Stronghold, DigiHost, BitDigital, and Luxfolio have done better on the 8-week time frame. And then these guys here did far worse, obviously, than Bitcoin, Argo, CleanSpark, DMG, Bitfarms, Riot, Sphere, Hut, Marathon, Iris, Mawson, and Core Scientific down 64%. Mawson was down 54%. A lot of guys that were, a lot worse off than Bitcoin here on the 8 weeks. And then quickly look at the 12 weeks. See how that all stacks up. So on the 12 weeks, Bitcoin is in second place, only down 52%. And BitDigital has actually done better, down only 50%. And and everybody else has done worse here. Core is down 80% in the last 12 weeks. Boston's down 74, Marathon's down 73, Riot down 71, Iris down 70, Hut almost down 69, Sphere down 68.5, Stronghold down 66, DigiHost was down 65, almost 66, Bitfarms was down almost 65, Hive was down 64.5 roughly. So it's obviously been a tough, well, the first half of the year has been tough, not only on Bitcoin, on the miners, on the stock market itself, and excuse me, in general. It has not been a good time, like the past year was. So something to be mindful of, obviously. And then we can see here the data that we have here for all the weeks. We do have some green, obviously, mixed in here as well. But majority of the time, it's all pretty much red. And I think that's going to be the case here going forward until we actually hit bottom. And then from there, we may see a trend where we're starting to see more green and red. But who knows where the bottom is. And if obviously the bottom is at, excuse me, at 15,000. So we're still going to fall back down another, what is that? Another 20% or so, 20, 25% from where we are right now. If that happens, the miners are going to fall another 40, 50% from where they are right now, if that happens. So dollar cost averaging is my strategy, not financial advice. Obviously do your own research as always. But if I can get towards the bottom of it and accumulate more, right? So $100 invested at a, let's just say $1 stock price, you're only getting 100 shares. But if something comes down to 10 cents, well, now that $100 gives you basically, what is that, 1,000 shares? So that's the big difference there as far as accumulation goes. You can accumulate more for the same amount of money, and once things start going back up, we're going to be doing a lot better. That's at least my thinking on it. I've been through this before with Hive. Back in 2018, they bottomed out at 8 cents, kept buying down until then, and then rode it all the way up. Biggest mistake was I learned to be greedy when others are fearful. I did not learn to be fearful when others are greedy. That is something that I have to work on still to learn when to sell. A lot of times I'm just optimistic that the market's going to be going forward, and maybe my optimism is obviously a crutch for me. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Obviously a bad week for the miners for the most part. We'll see where Bitcoin goes. It's been a bad week for Bitcoin as well. So we'll see where things go this week. But right now it's not looking good. So hope you guys have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. As always, spreadsheets available to Patreon members. Thank you to my patrons for their support. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out. And that's all I ask of you guys. And let me know down in the comments as far as what are you guys doing? Are you guys dollar cost averaging? Are you just holding until possibly trying to, time the bottom as best you can? Or what's your strategy? Let me know. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. So that's it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.